That's when I began to feel lighter. Like, stop giving a fuck and you will feel lighter. If you're walking around feeling heavy, burdened, lumped over, shoulders over, and you can't figure out why, it's probably because people are taking advantage of you being out of alignment. People are taking advantage of you and probably have for years. Again, I don't know who need to hear this, but it's time for you to stand the fuck up for yourself. So, PSA announcement, okay? You will feel so much lighter if you lay down other people's opinions, thoughts, wants, needs, and requests and simply start living for you. Peace and balance, grand rising. Your girl Mystique Moon, and welcome to shesoundoff, where we heal your spirit, practice self transformation, and learn to live in our highest consciousness and the highest version. So, I did not plan this video. I did not write anything down, take notes. This is just thoughts, random thoughts. It's actually 6:06. That's a good number. And I've been up, so this is usually my reflection time, my meditation time. And as I was reflecting and meditating on my life, which is what I do, this is focused therapy. I was just thinking about how I decided to just plainly not give a fuck anymore. I decided not to care. I spent majority of my life trying to please people, trying to be validated by making people happy. And it's funny because when I went through my whole year of learning about the ego and what the ego is all about, I learned that my ego has always told me that I should receive instant gratification by doing things for other people. So not only was I people pleasing my way through life to, make them happy, I was also people pleasing my way through life because my ego told me that gives me gratification. I would stretch myself, bend, go out of my way, feel uncomfortable, even down to what I really felt or thought about an opinion or something like that. Like, I would really suppress how I really felt just to save somebody else's face. I would allow people to say anything to me. I had no voice. I never spoke up for myself. I would do things that I really didn't feel like doing just to satisfy someone else. And that got so uncomfortable. I guess majority of the time I was feeling like I needed that recognition. If I can just, because everybody likes a person that does everything for them, right? Everybody likes a people pleaser. Everybody can use a people pleaser. It's not that they like us or, value. We're not valued. People pleasers are not valued. People enjoy what they can do or how they can use us rather than really enjoying us. So I guess on a level, people can feel superior to people pleasers, people that have no boundaries, that have no backbone. That's where I was in life, consistently feeling low. And then the funny part about it is, after I would do something outside of what I felt, or after I would do something to please someone else, I was always left feeling empty. I felt empty all the time. And I was doing it for years, literally years. I was just people pleasing my way. It got to a point where I was doing it at my workplace, and it was draining as hell. I didn't know how to stop being that way though. Like, I didn't know how to switch that dynamic of serving myself, being that pleaser, being a people pleaser, but only to myself. I didn't know how to switch that dynamic um, until I began my spiritual journey. And in my spiritual journey, it caused for me to isolate. And y'all know my story. I isolated to where I moved to a whole different state. Didn't know anybody really. I was alone. And it was a good alone. It was a really comfortable alone. But I began to learn who I really was. And I learned that the reason that I did a lot of people pleasing is because I was seeking validation in all the wrong places for all the wrong things from all the wrong people. I needed validation. I needed to be seen. I needed to be heard. Probably partly is because I felt ignored as a child. I felt neglected as a child, you know? And so I felt invisible as a child. So naturally growing up, I'm going to do anything that I can to get attention. I'm going to people please. And so once I learned that I was trying to seek love, attention, and validation, recognition from anybody who would give it to me, I began to pour into myself. I began to pour that validation, pour that love, pour that attention into myself. And it took a while. It took a while for me to break that mold, because when you are so used to doing something, you have to unlearn behaviors. I think a lot of people forget that part about healing and just coming into your new self, that when you are trying to learn yourself and come out of that shell of whatever you've been through, trauma, you have to unlearn behaviors, because everything that you built up to that point is a learned behavior, and it becomes ritual, habit. And so once I began to unlearn that, which, and I'm gonna say this because I don't know who needs to hear this message. I'm just delivering it. I had to isolate when it came down to a certain period of my spiritual journey. And if you are in a spiritual journey, sidebar, there comes a time where you have to become the hermit. Like, I wish I could show you my I can't find my cards, but you literally have to become the hermit, because there are so many influences and things that just, you know, distract you from the lessons or from yourself or from your inner voice. It's so many things going on around you that you can't distinguish which voice is your source, your spirit, your ancestors, your higher self, your dark self. You can't distinguish the voices, so isolation becomes necessary. But I began to learn who I was again. I began to learn what became true peace for me. And what became true peace for me was to literally stop giving a fuck. That became peace. I know it might sound a little cliche, but if you are feeling like you just have to people please your way through life, my first request for you to heal that is to stop caring. Stop giving a fuck. And I know it's easier said than done, but it can start from, and when I say stop giving a fuck, what I really mean is create boundaries for yourself. The people who have a problem with you not saying yes, being a yes man, being a people pleaser, the only people that would have an issue with that is people who benefit off your low vibrations. And that happens. People who benefit off of you constantly saying yes, people who benefit off of you having no boundaries, will have a problem with you learning to pour into yourself, creating boundaries. So when you're deciding that it's time for you to love you and put yourself first and create boundaries and not give a fuck about the opinion of other people, I don't care what you think I look like. I don't care what you think I sound like. I don't care about what you think about my choices. I don't care. This is a hard no for me. I went through a hard no season, and that was easy because, like, I stopped. Like, when things don't feel right in my spirit, it's a hard no for me. That's just it. And when I started to do this, when I started to go through this, get into this space where it's all about me, and no disrespect to you, it's like it's all about me. That's when I began to feel lighter. Like, stop giving a fuck and you will feel lighter. If you're walking around feeling heavy, burdened, lumped over, shoulders over, and you can't figure out why, it's probably because people are taking advantage of you being out of alignment. People are taking advantage of you, and probably have for years. Again, I don't know who need to hear this, but it's time for you to stand the fuck up for yourself. And not just from a literal standpoint. I'm talking about from a standpoint of even your insecurities on your body too. Like, I know this might be a whole nother topic, but y'all, for the first time ever, and y'all know I just had my daughter. She'll be 7 months in like a day or two. And so naturally my stomach has gotten bigger. And I would always hide it. And for the first time the other day, I'm in my not give a fuck season so heavily that I stopped caring. I because I do love myself. My insecurities does not rest on how I feel about myself. And that is what's so crazy. My insecurities rest on how I think others view me. That means I care about the opinion of other people. I'm still people pleasing. I'm people pleasing in that way because I want you to like how I look. And I stopped giving a damn. And I walked outside yesterday with this outfit on, and I decided not to hide my body. And it felt so liberating because I decided to stop giving a fuck. So, PSA announcement, okay? You will feel so much lighter if you lay down other people's opinions, thoughts, wants, needs, and requests, and simply start living for you. Now, I'm not saying that you can't help people and you can't be there for people, but at what expense? If you have to put yourself at risk or at an expense to serve someone who is not willing to serve you, who is not willing to be there for you, then those are who you need to put aside. And it's just simple as that. Stop giving a fuck about what people might say if you say no. It's a hard no. And anything beyond that is your business, not mine. I don't have to explain my no's. I don't have to give excuses for my no's. It's just no, it's one sentence. Stop giving a fuck about the opinions of others. I don't care what you think I look like. I love me. I don't care what you think my life is like. I enjoy what I do. I don't care what you think if I shouldn't be in this relationship. I enjoy this relationship. This is me, it's my life. Start taking back control of your reality. Start taking back conscious control of the space that you're walking in when it comes down to other people. I simply stopped giving a fuck. And that has made the world of difference in my life. I have people telling me that I'm glowing. And no, I don't have a filter on here. I am glowing. And it's so fitting because there are things that's happening to my body that has never happened to me before. I have been stressed and in survival mode my entire life. My entire life. As a child, teenager, young adult, I have been in survival mode and stressed out my entire life. And for the first time, after doing healing work, because it's just nothing that happened overnight, I am finding real peace. I'm learning what that looks like, even through stress and like life, day-to-day life stuff that's going to happen. I'm finding what pure peace feels like. I'm finding that survivor mode, getting out of survivor mode means there are going to be problems and worries and things like that. And it is what it is. I will change what I can. What I cannot, God will do the rest. And there is this, my nails is growing and I'm not taking any type of vitamins and stuff. I am going to start taking my vitamins. But my hair is healthy. Like my hair is growing. My skin is glowing. And this is because I literally specifically decided to stop giving a fuck and pour all those fucks that I was giving for everybody else into myself, into my children, into my career, into my healing, into my sisterhood, into my business, into the friends who pour into me. That's what I began to do. And not only do I feel like it when I look in the mirror, I feel like it when I wake up in the morning. Now, there are some days, because there are ebbs and flows. We all know that. The vibration, the constant flow of life, the rhythm, the law of rhythm. We know about that. But for the most part, I wake up in the morning and I feel content with life. I feel at peace with life. And that has been a long time coming, baby. Believe that. Believe that. So, I don't know. I didn't even expect for this video to be this long. I just want to say, learn to love you. Learn to stop giving a fuck. Stop pleasing people. Because a user would be done with you and go to the next. They're going to find somebody to use. Just don't let it be you. People who have no cares or worries about your feelings, thoughts, and opinions, and, just have no empathy or sympathy towards you, leave them where they are. And if you are struggling with self-image issues and, feeling insecure about something, stop giving a fuck. And that fuck that you're giving to what other people think, give it to yourself. And then you'll find, yourself walking in what you feel like is love to yourself. You'll find yourself walking in your highest vibration, in your highest self, in your highest version, because that's really what it's all about. I don't think that life is about finding happiness. I think life is about finding peace, and there is happiness within peace. But there are other things within peace. There's contentment, there's stillness, there's joy. There's so many beautiful and liberating emotions behind or within peace. And that's what we're searching for. Anyway, I'm going to stop because I go on and on. Well, I hope this video has helped transform something in you. I hope it shook something in you, stirred something in you, because it most definitely has for me. And remember that self-preservation is the first law of nature. Love yourself before you love anything, anybody else in this world. And remember to always lead with your heart, and everything else will follow. Please subscribe to my channel if this has helped you. And thank you for visiting. Thank you for stopping by. Peace out.